So a lot of people have been wondering what Amybeth is currently doing in Atlanta. Is she filming for a new show? Is she doing a new movie? Is she joining a cast for a new season of a show? Now, there are two theories that are the most prominent right now. One is about Stranger Things, the other one is about a new movie that she might be filming. I'm going to talk about those two theories, and I'm going to be talking about what it could mean for Anne with an E if Amybeth were to join the Stranger Things cast for season 4. And let's get into it. Before I do get started, I do want to give out some disclaimers. Number 1, this theory is not mine at all. This information was found and compiled by a couple of Twitter users that I am going to be giving credit in this video, and the exact wording of this theory that I'm going to be reading out was actually given to me by an Instagram account called And the Series Fandom. Second disclaimer, I have not seen Stranger Things. It is a show that I've always wanted to watch. I just have not gotten around to watching it. I will eventually watch it. If I say something incorrect or if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I'm going to be reading off from a document containing the theory, I might not seem like I know what I'm talking about because I have not seen Stranger Things. I know a bit about it. Nothing against the show, I just haven't watched it yet. I am a part of the Anne fandom, so I do know a lot about that side. My main focus for this channel is Anne with an E. If you enjoy Anne with an E content, be sure to subscribe because I do make a lot of videos about Anne. I'm going to be trying my best to give out this information. And disclaimer number 3, if this ends up being false, I will probably make a video where I debunk this theory. I won't just say this and then run with it if it ends up not being true. It could very well not be true, but it is very interesting to talk about. Anyway, now with all of that out of the way with, let's get started. I'm going to be looking down at my phone a lot, so just letting you know that's why I'm looking down, because I'm looking at my phone reading off the theory. Amybeth traveled to Atlanta, Georgia, presumably to film something. To our knowledge, Amybeth has never been to Atlanta. We're fairly certain she has only ever been to New York when it comes to the States. So if she was traveling for fun this time, her boyfriend, Louis Hynes, or some other friends/families of hers would have likely joined her, but it appears she traveled alone, subtly confirming this trip is probably for business and not pleasure. Quoting from her Instagram page, "Atlanta, you already have my heart," also sort of implies this may in fact be her first time in Atlanta. As many people know, Stranger Things films in Atlanta and is currently filming as we speak, so Amybeth simply traveling there was enough for a few fans to speculate, but no one honestly thought it was likely. By the way, another disclaimer, if you haven't seen Stranger Things, then there probably will be spoilers in this video, just to warn you. I'm gonna say the same thing for Anne, even though I don't think that there will be any spoilers for Anne, but just a warning if you haven't seen either shows or both shows. I don't really know what you're doing here if you haven't seen at least one of these shows, but just in case, spoiler warning for both shows. That was until a fan noticed that Amybeth followed Maya Hawke recently on Instagram, May 3rd to be exact, which was 2 days after she arrived in Atlanta. Here's the main tweet that went viral recently relating to Amybeth going to Atlanta, which is Amybeth following Maya. So this tweet by Miss Walker says, "Good night, Amybeth is in Atlanta. She followed Maya Hawke, Robin, and one of the makeup artists from Stranger Things, Sarah, followed Amybeth." After this theory was exposed to more fans because of this tweet, some people even started speculating that it could be possible Amybeth could star in Stranger Things as Robin's potential new love interest in season 4. So as a side note, and I believe I did see this on Twitter as well, people were a bit weirded out, which I can't understand, about the fact that the actress that plays Robin is 24 and Amybeth is 19. So the age difference plus the fact that Amybeth does look younger than her age is kind of making people feel a little weirded out about this casting choice if it were to be true. I also personally noticed that people were starting to draw facial feature comparisons between Amybeth and Maya, which has created a new theory that Amybeth will play Maya's younger sister in the show. So if Amybeth was playing Robin's new love interest, this would explain why Amybeth followed Maya recently, perhaps because they filmed a scene or two together. Although we admit this whole thread is just one big messy theory anyways, we do feel that we can, with a decent amount of certainty, debunk this as a possibility. Please note that Amybeth already follows Millie, Gaten, and Noah from the Stranger Things cast, who also follow her back, as she's followed them since early 2017 when both Stranger Things and Anne with an E were in their early stages on Netflix. Millie even joined one of Amybeth's Instagram lives a few years ago, September 2017, where they congratulated each other on both of their series' success.
Hey, sweetheart!
Hi! Oh
It's
my
nice to be able to
goodness.
actually talk to you.
Congratulations on all your success. The
Babe,
show.
same to you. Oh my goodness. Seriously, you're doing so well.
So from what we can tell, it's most likely that Amybeth followed Maya recently because she realized she didn't already and was just adding on to some of the cast of Stranger Things she already followed on her way to prepare for filming. Question mark. Also, Maya didn't follow Amybeth back and still hasn't, which led to some fans to assume it could all just be a big coincidence to begin with, because Maya following her back right away could have actually indicated they may have indeed met in person recently, and while that that still could be the case, we don't necessarily think it undeniably is, or that they necessarily filmed scenes together because of it. The next thing fans discovered was that the Stranger Things hairstylist, Sarah Hindsgual, recently followed Amybeth sometime in mid-February. It would actually make a lot of sense for the hairstylist and Amybeth to interact beforehand, as Amybeth did dye her hair blonde just before leaving to go to Atlanta, likely to prepare for a role in this series. The most recent piece of the puzzle was discovered when a fan freaked out that both Amybeth and Moira liked Millie's recent Instagram post of the newest sneak peek for season 4. What a lot of fans don't know though is that Amybeth and Moira have indeed both been following Millie for a long time, so them liking a recent post of hers isn't something we should consider hard evidence. What this did lead us to though was noticing Louis Hynes, Amybeth's boyfriend, also liked Millie's post. Louis is also a Netflix actor himself from A Series of Unfortunate Events 2017, so we initially figured he has probably followed Millie for quite some time, similar to Amybeth, right? Actually no, because what we discovered was that he only recently followed Millie roughly 2 weeks ago, approximately April 22nd, estimated by Social Blade. Is it possible that he heard about the new sneak peek for season 4 and wanted to fangirl like a lot of fans by following Millie potentially? Actually no, because he technically followed her a week before the recent teaser was released. We're not saying he knew anything about the sneak peek in particular, but it is almost like something else, out of nowhere, led him to follow her. Now this is who fans think Amybeth will likely play in Stranger Things, the first and most obvious being Six. Francine, also known as Six, is a central character in Stranger Things 6, a 4-issue comic miniseries. She was a Hawkins lab test subject with precognitive abilities, just like Millie Bobby Brown's character 11. The new teaser for season 4, posted just days ago, quite literally confirms season 4 will revisit the storylines involving the other kids tested on, so it's not even reaching to theorize that Six, or any of the other children for that matter, could feature somehow in season 4. Season 3 of Stranger Things was set in 1985, which means season 4 will likely be set in either 1986 or 87, at the latest. But unfortunately, Francine's character from the comics died in 1978. This means that if her specific character did appear in season 4, it would likely only be a small appearance in a flashback or two, or even in a standalone episode all about her story, considering Stranger Things has done standalone episodes in the past for another kid that was experimented on. Even if this role is quite small and likely not reoccurring, the character is very important to the overall story, in the comics at least, so it would make sense for them to cast someone who is well known on Netflix for this role, because it would make the moment of her appearance that much more hyped up and dramatic. Kind of to add that, Netflix planned on making a spin-off with 11 and all the other kids experimented on. This has been speculated for years, but nothing has come out of it. The standalone episode with Kid 8 in season 2 was intended to jumpstart a potential spin-off surrounding all of those kids experimented on. Maybe casting Amybeth as one of them would be more exciting to announce a spin-off. Unlikely since the comics has them pretty young, but worth mentioning. Though some fans aren't entirely on board for this theory, as they would prefer Amybeth to play the role of someone who doesn't die. That way she could potentially be in a recurring role, like one of the twins, 9 or 9.5. Fans also note that technically Amybeth just dyed her hair blonde, so it wouldn't make sense for her to play Francine, who has red hair, according to the comics. We can't know for certain if Stranger Things series will completely align itself with the comics though, as the comics were written by a completely different person, only loosely associated with those actually behind the series. We also know that there has already been speculation and theories for months about time travel for season 4 in general, and how changing things in the past could in turn change the future, so we don't even want to rule out that some of the stuff from the comics could in fact happen, only to be reversed. Also, Amybeth dyeing her hair blonde could have actually been a red herring, and perhaps she was only dyeing it blonde so she could dye it red shortly after, in order for it to be a brighter red for the role of Six. Or perhaps the series decided to switch it up and make Six's hair blonde. So far, there aren't really any other major theories about her potential role, besides the few above, as it again largely depends on how much the Duffer Brothers do or don't change from the comics. Another angle we want to discuss relates to how Netflix announced that they are opening a new headquarters in Toronto, with the intention of investing more of their time and money into Canadian filmmakers and companies. They actually did mention Anthony's success as one factor for why they want to expand their relationship with Canada to continue that success with more content, only to add that they would reveal some future collaborations between themselves and Canadian creatives very soon in the upcoming weeks. In late April, as a Netflix article continued to circulate, Red Hill Entertainment referred to it and voiced that they were excited for what is to come. Red Hill Entertainment is a studio that produced the thriller Maternal, which Amybeth stars as a lead in. Is it possible Netflix and Red Hill had some sort of meeting, and Netflix was allowed the opportunity to see the film Maternal before deciding if it would be worth it for them to pay for the licensing to stream Maternal on Netflix in the future? Because if you go to Red Hill's website, then to their Maternal section, it does appear to show the offer gets streaming license. Now this is where the theory gets really interesting, because literally everything above happened in early 2021. Fans as of late have been hopeful as a result of the statement Netflix made regarding the new headquarters in Toronto, seeing as they even mentioned Amybeth for the first time officially since cancellation. Is it possible that Netflix saw Amybeth in the role of Charlie early in 2021 when they were getting the rights to stream Eternal and other Canadian films? If so, is it possible that they saw her potential in the genre and made some sort of connection to how she could feature in Stranger Things around the time they were already considering renewing Anne, just trying to find a way to do it brilliantly enough to make sure it does outstanding this time around? Amybeth behind the scenes of Maternal giving major Stranger Things vibes. I bring up this assumption because finding new cast members for Stranger Things in almost any other major show is quite difficult. It usually requires the people behind the series to search for themselves instead of just posting casting calls publicly, since they don't want to spoil too much for fans lurking, like we are currently. Could this mean Six was a specific role Netflix had already been on the lookout for to cast for a while, only for them to cast Amybeth to get both Amybeth fans, with Netflix's biggest petition yet, and Stranger Things fans, to somehow collide in order to create a break-the-internet level promo before announcing the renewal of Anne with an E? I also noticed a lot of Anne fans taking this news of Amybeth potentially being in Stranger Things as bad for an Anne renewal, but I don't see that being the case at all. Netflix could have easily not allowed Amybeth to be in Stranger Things if it was brought up, solely because they didn't want to give Anne fans any more fuel to their cancelled show more views. By putting Amybeth on Stranger Things at all, they are introducing Amybeth to their biggest audience, which would more than likely lead those Stranger Things viewers to give Anne with an E a chance if they haven't already. I feel like ending this on a note where we acknowledge that this could all be a coincidence and she's filming something else entirely. The only other proof we have of her not filming Stranger Things and something else is from Atlanta Filming, a photographer paparazzi account. They made an IG post, since deleted, ironically a day or so after Amybeth arrived in Atlanta, to say that they would inform anyone who commented asking what they think any specific celebrity might be filming in Atlanta. At Darlison_Florentino asked in the comments what they thought Amybeth was filming, and Atlanta Filming responded, probably Secret Headquarters. If Amybeth is not in fact working with Stranger Things, then Anne fans definitely want her working on Secret Headquarters. Secret Headquarters is a film produced by Paramount, a huge film company that heavily, excessively pays money to promote their content online. They've made just about every major American film known to man, along with Jerry Bruckheimer also set to produce the film. The casting is still quite under wraps, with only Owen Wilson so far announced the lead. Filming does not start until May 25th. Amybeth coming at the start of May could mean she would likely have a major role, otherwise it wouldn't make much sense for her to come to Atlanta almost a month in advance. Besides what Atlanta Filming guesstimated, there is nothing else connecting Amybeth to this production, although it could very well end up being neither of these things, but instead something else entirely. Right now we're very much hoping it's either one of these two, but preferably Netflix's Stranger Things, because it would mean Netflix would most likely create edits and posts on their social media, referencing Amybeth from both Anne and Stranger Things, which would be pretty legendary in and of itself, and Netflix and Paramount seem to be streaming a lot of the same content, possibly because of an agreement, so it could end up being on Netflix eventually either way. Alright, so that's the end of the theory. As I said before, this could very well just be a theory, and it's also fun to speculate. I love doing theory videos, so if you guys enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, because that helps me out a lot. I'm going to be giving out a shout out now to everyone who retweeted or shared my last video on their Instagram story. At PenstarJE21, rParanal1, Melkita Ulamoon. Oh my god, I just realized that. Melkita Ulamoon 10. I love that name. At Lex Fangirls. At _Gaston13. At Amy with an _E. At Sancho08. At W_Topaz24. At Fablu03. At Vaudry2. At WhatsAppBex10. At Avonlea_Ethereal. At Baby Yoda Family. If you would like to receive a shout out in my next video relating to Anne renewal theories or updates, you can retweet my video on my Twitter, or you can repost my post about this video on your Instagram story and tag me as well when you do that. If you would like to support me additionally, I do have a channel membership now. Thank you so much to Rasser for being my first ever channel member. If you would like to join my membership, there is a join button at the bottom of this screen. Subscribe to the channel if you are interested in Anne with an E related videos. Turn on the post notifications bell to be notified when I post a new video, and that is it. I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye! Mwah. I keep saying thing a lot, and now I'm like